Welcome to the Football Retro Podcast.
The word welcome, I guess, is stretching it a little when you're an Australian in a place like this today.
Hello and welcome to episode 43 of the Football Retro Podcast. I'm your host, Johnny, and today we're all back, all of us. We've got Fatty, Yak, and Darcy. How you doing, guys?
Yeah,
anyone?
I guess I'll go first. You can tell the mood that everyone is in during this lockdown. No one really wants to explain how they feel. Open up, guys. Share, Fatty, share.
Motivation is all-time low, isn't it, Fatty?
No, my motivation has been great, actually. Premier League's back on, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny you say that. Like,
results aside, but yeah, at least there's some football now to keep us entertained throughout this harsh lockdown. Fuck you, Glad.
Yeah, good to see all the domestic leagues back, and good to see the fans back in the stadium too. There's a big difference watching.
It was weird watching the Premier League with a full stadium, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was surreal. It felt strange.
Yeah, no, it was pretty good.
Was La Liga half field, or what's the go with La Liga?
Yeah, limited up. I think maximum 50% capacity, or even less than that. Maybe 30% capacity at the moment. We're looking to increase that.
it was 36.9.
Yeah. Yeah, around that.
I thought you said half field, Johnny. I thought you were referring to Real Madrid's field. Half field.
That's not even. Don't be too generous there, Fatty.
Hey, our opening round, we won 4-1. It was a really nice game.
Who'd you
well too, mate. So congratulations.
The farmers from Catalonia.
Alaves.
Well, top three teams in Spain won the first round.
Who did Arsenal play, Fatty?
The farmers from the Midlands.
Brentford.
All right, give us
was a joke.
60 seconds on how long is Arteta going to last?
Exactly that, 60 seconds.
Well, you guys have Chelsea and Man City coming up, so make a break for you guys.
Make or break what? It's perfect. It's going to break him, and he's going to get sacked. That's perfect. Perfect.
So you don't think you'll see October?
I don't think he'll see Christmas. No way. He won't see Christmas. That's right.
Especially he's a dream candidate to replace him.
If they don't pick up 15 to 20 points after the first 10 games, he'll be gone.
Who do you want to replace him? I cast
Conte.
Not a bad choice.
Anti-Arsenal choice, though.
Mate, Arsenal's not Arsenal since the fucking Wenger left, so it doesn't matter now. Might as well get someone who's at least experienced, done that, achieved at the fucking highest level. Regardless of the style of play or regardless of his tactics, it doesn't make a difference now because Arteta's style of play and tactics are fucking non-existent.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So
this week in the football world, it's been a bit of sad news, Darcy.
Yeah, Bayern Munich and German legend Gerd Muller passed away, age 75. Before our time, but you mentioned him. He's synonymous with goals. Scored a ton of goals at both club and international level, and he also had the record for most goals at the World Cup finals for 32 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
He also had a record for the most goals in a single calendar year or single season.
Yeah, I think that was matched by Lewandowski this year in the Bundesliga. But yeah, prolific up front. He scored more than a goal a game for Germany at international levels. Yeah, big loss and a club legend there at Bayern.
I was referring to another record. I can't speak about Messi today, so I won't bring it up too much. Akram gave me a warning before we started recording. Did not mention Messi, but he beat one of Muller's record. The reason I bring it up is not because of Messi, but it's because it's a record that someone from the 70s still held to a couple of years ago. So it just goes to show what a prolific goal scorer he was for his time.
Yeah, just one more thing on that record, the World Cup record he had for 32 years. It was broken by the Brazilian Ronaldo in the 2006 World Cup in Germany, which was then broken 8 years later by a German in Brazil, Miroslav Klose. That's a bit of fun facts for you.
Fun trivia.
Wow. Fuck. How long did you honestly? But let's be honest here. Did you actually look that up, or did you just put those pieces together from the?
I thought it came into my mind at breakfast this morning. So,
what did you
having
have?
my Cocoa Pops.
What did you have? Oh, Cocoa Pops. Like, I'm going to have Cocoa Pops tomorrow. Clearly does something amazing to your memory.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cocoa Pop magic.
Thinking his stats.
The Cocoa Pop magic.
Light bulb moment.
Oh, hey, Donny, that's what you called connecting the triangle.
Yeah.
Bit of Illuminati there by Darcy. So that got me thinking in regards to, obviously Muller was the top goal scorer of the 70s, right? In that decade, no one scored more goals than Muller. He won the 74 World Cup. He won the 72 Euro. He scored both goals in the final of the 72 Euro against USSR back then. He scored a goal in the 74 final against Holland, Cruyff's Holland, to win the World Cup. So important goals. Beckenbauer's come out and said that he's the most important player in Bayern Munich's history.
Wow.
Because his goals have helped Bayern Munich become the powerhouse that they are today. The Champions Leagues they won, the trophies they've won, and that obviously is shown by today's stature of the club. What do you guys think about those statements and those goals that I just mentioned?
I mean, I think it's like really generous of Beckenbauer to say that. I think it's showing respect to a colleague and a friend of his. Objectively, if we can try to take the sentimentality of the weekend of the day aside, I have a hard time believing that he was more important than Franz Beckenbauer himself. But at the same time, who am I to argue with Franz Beckenbauer about it? If he says Gerd Muller was the most important player, then fair enough, you know. As the goal scoring aside, you're absolutely right. Like the 70s was such an amazing time for talent. And it was that modernization of football to become this real global game. And you had some of the most amazing players that were playing in the 70s. To have Johan Cruyff be trophyless on an international level, but essentially, you know, it's down to West Germany and Gerd Muller in that final. It's unbelievable when you think about it.
Yeah, no, spot on. In the 70s, you're talking about world game. You're talking. I think first thing that comes to mind is those big players going to the US and promoting the game. Over there, the Pele, the Beckenbauers, the George Best. Yeah. That's what comes to mind. So looking into the 70s, I did a bit of research on who was the top goal scorer in each decade. Okay, let's see if you guys can guess. It should be pretty easy, except for the first one. It should be an easy game. All right, 1940s. We're going to start.
Oh, what is
in the 1940s? I think he's got the record for the most goals scored up to today. So does anyone come to mind?
No.
Darcy, I'm counting on you.
Oh.
Cocoa Pop magic, come on. Go get some Cocoa Pops.
I was going to say Eusebio, but no, that's not Eusebio. See, 1940s.
I think you said something. You said
hang on. There wasn't much because World War II was on.
No, yeah, but
did a lot of football be played? Or I know there was no World Cups. Did a lot of football around that time? Can't remember.
I wasn't born around them, and I don't know.
No, I obviously can't.
So look,
regardless of the amount of football played, there was football played.
Yeah.
Who was the highest goal scorer from it?
And
because you can't remember it, Darcy, doesn't mean you have to invalidate the question.
No. Stop me.
He's on fire, Akram, today. The answer is Joseph Bacon.
That's what I was going to say, but Darcy didn't want me to.
So. Yeah, of course, sir.
Of course.
See, I love this, Johnny, because the deep cuts back long ago, I'm probably going to be better at a Darcy.
Yeah, I think
Eusebio in the 40s. Eusebio
he was 60s. He was 60s.
All right. Now, I'm guessing we'll get this one in the 50s. Top goal scorer of the 50s.
I'd say Puskás.
You say Puskás?
Puskás.
Fatty?
I'm not saying shit. I'm listening.
Look, I don't know how reliable my source is, but the research I did was Di Stefano in the 50s.
Wow.
Wow.
In the 60s, you mentioned someone in the 60s before, Darcy.
Eusebio.
That's your answer?
Yeah.
Lock it in. Akram?
Giuseppe Miezza.
Fatty, come on, take it.
Italian crap. We don't know who that is.
Take a guess, Fatty.
Eusebian very pretty prominent. I mean, I don't know. I think Pele was 70s, so I wouldn't say Pele for that era.
The answer is Pele.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
At least I said the word somewhere thereabouts, even though it was wrong. I brought it into fruition.
All right, the 70s, we spoke about Muller. The 80s, top goal scorer of the 80s decade.
That's a bit for me. I'd guess Maradona.
Maradona. To be honest, he wasn't a prolific goal scorer.
Yeah.
Next,
Expert football advice you get here on this panel, right?
80s.
Would you say Van Basten?
does he?
Yeah, I'd say Van Basten as well.
Sanchez.
Hugo
Sanchez.
Thanks.
Akram.
You fucked up, Akram. You were having a crack about how he scored 38 goals in one season, and you're talking shit about them bringing up Messi.
Yeah, we get it, Paddy.
That's why when you mentioned Sanchez before we started recording, I kept my mouth shut for this moment.
Akram, congratulations. You played yourself.
All right. Now it gets interesting. 1990s.
Here we go.
1990s. You think Romario? Anyone else?
I think.
Fatty, you can step in now. Come on, 90s, you know.
I'm having a good think, actually. There's a few, but it's interesting.
Shearer?
He was a Blackburn in the 90s in Newcastle. Makes sense.
Shearer would have been up there. Romario was at Barcelona at the time. We had a small stint there.
He was in Holland for a bit.
Yeah.
Then he went to Barcelona in the 90s.
Yeah.
Young Ronaldo started off at Ronaldo R9.
He started Cruzeiro in the 90s. Then he went to Holland. Then he went to Barcelona in the 90s as well.
He scored enough by then. So I've scored the most for that decade. I don't know. I'd like to say R9.
You got to think of someone who played it along all of the 90s as well, because R9 is more towards the late 90s that he peaked. Someone like Batistuta was played the whole of the 90s, for example.
Klinsmann?
Klinsmann? How many answers are you going to give?
Well, fucking just tell us.
We're just throwing names.
The answer is Romario.
You suck.
You know why that makes sense? Because he had that dispute about scoring fucking I don't know how many
1,000
goals.
goals.
That's right, yeah.
All right, we're moving to the new century, 2000s. Top goal scorer of the zeros.
Oh.
This is a bit more difficult.
Oh, there's a lot of names.
Because there's more that there'll be a few that will be very close.
Cristiano.
No, from 2010.
Yeah.
From 2003, he was there for the majority.
Okay.
Van Nistelrooy.
And this is a good one, actually. And this is a really good guess.
Okay. The answer is Thierry Henry.
Oh.
That's 2000s. Wow.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Only a true Arsenal fan would have got that.
Invincibles era. When did he go to Barcelona?
After we didn't win the Champions League.
07.
Okay, so that makes sense. That's his peak. The 2000s was his peak.
That was a period of time when Fatty was a Man United supporter, though. So that's
fair enough. Fair
no,
play.
that was 1996.
All right. Look, in the 10s, the website that I've got, it said Messi, but other websites say Cristiano. I don't know what the answer is. They were both freaks.
So,
all right. Now, this is where I want to get. Obviously,
how are you debating who scored how many goals?
Because depending on which website gives you different number of goals. Because some of them count 2020 as part of the decade, some of them don't. So, to me, the research that I've done, Messi came up. But I'm sure you find other places where you can dispute it. Ask Pele. He reckons he scored 7,426 goals. He counts the goals he scored in the beach against his nephews.
Yeah, he scored against his mistress's illegitimate son in the backyard.
Does he count FIFA as well?
Counts everything.
Obviously, talking about Muller and going to goal scorers, we wanted today to have a special mention of those prolific goal scorers, right? Early on in the podcast, we did an episode of the number 9 role.
Yeah.
And although the number 9 is associated obviously with goal scoring, that's the number 1 priority for the position. Today, I want to have a different spin on it. All right. Now, I found the players with the best goal per game ratio in the 21st century. Okay, so it doesn't mean they've scored the most goals. It means they've got the best goal per game ratio. Now, there's top 50 here. Do you want to go through all of them? Do you want to see highlights? What do you want to do?
10.
I was going to say 10.
There's some big names, though.
20.
Like, for example, number 50.
Like an auction. 25.
Number 50 is Michael Owen, for example.
No.
Nah, top 10, mate.
49, Jamie Vardy. 48, Rivaldo. 47, Drogba.
Oh, shit, bro.
Yeah.
Let's 44 is your mate, Akram. Iago Aspas.
Oh, really?
All right. 42, another mate of yours, Benzema.
Oh, yeah.
Pick some notable ones as you go up the list.
Yeah, 41, Alan Shearer.
Yeah.
These are all names that we would have missed if I did top 10. That's why I wanted to quickly go through the list. 40, David Villa.
Who?
David Villa.
Oh, David Villa.
39, Eden Dzeko.
Mm-hmm.
36, Lukaku. 35, Diego Milito.
Milito. I can't say that right now. Loved him at Inter Milan.
Yeah.
32, this surprised me a little bit, Shevchenko.
Why? Oh, was it?
Yeah.
He scored a lot of goals off the bench as well, so that probably would have helped his ratio a bit.
Yeah.
But I thought it would have been
Johnny,
higher.
are you surprised that it's lower towards the...
Yeah, I thought it would have been higher on the list. Yeah.
Well, I mean, his peak was more like 98 to...
Yeah.
Fair enough. 31, Gonzalo Higuain.
Good mate, Higuain.
What a record.
That's 0.49 goals per game. That's half a goal a game.
Oh, with his Real Madrid Napoli days, it was pretty good.
Yeah, he smashed the record at Napoli and stuff.
Yeah.
Number 30, if I do this, Akram, who is it?
I don't know.
Luca Toni.
Tony.
That's his goal celebration. Come on.
Yes.
I was actually on his Instagram the other day because it popped up on someone else's, and I'm like, oh yeah, fuck, what about this guy? I started just reading up a bit.
29, Elber from Bayern Munich.
Yep.
What an ugly head.
Yeah.
28, one of Fatty's favorites,
Yes.
Here we go.
Robin van Persie.
Love Robin van Persie.
Yeah, he was good.
Especially when he came into his own at Man United. Yeah.
Won the Premier League first year.
Look, some of these plays are current, obviously, and this was written in 2020. So it's only a year old. 27, Mo Salah, for example.
Yeah.
26, Samuel Eto'o.
Yeah.
23, Christian Vieri, the Aussie.
Yeah.
Prairie Wood High School local boy.
Missed
Man.
opportunity there for Australia.
What do you mean? We've got the brother.
Oh, Max. Yeah, I forgot him.
Fucking useless.
All right.
I'll never forget that 2002 World Cup, Italy. Never forget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's get top 20 now. All right, we're finally here. Number 20, David Trezzagay.
Yeah, one of my favourites. I enjoyed watching Trezzagay. Really good striker.
He 0.53 goals per game. Obviously, I think Trezzagay, I think Juventus.
Yeah. And that golden goal.
Definitely Trezzagay, Juventus, and France Euro 2000.
Yeah. Another Argentinian player gone play for France.
So you're Higuain instead.
Otherwise, if he didn't, he wouldn't have won an international tournament. So good on him.
Fair point. You know, who knows? Maybe he would have scored in the freaking finals, and he would have retired by then. He was too old. He was too old.
Which one? World Cup '98.
No, World Cup 2014. That's all he always goes to.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, Trezzagay is already fucking in a fucking wheelchair.
Number 19, Akram. Talk to us a little bit about this guy. 0.5 goals per game. Lazio, big Lazio player. Ciro Immobile.
Oh boy, Ciro Immobile. You mean the guy that can consistently score every season for like
He's started them. Fuck.
you put a blue jersey on him and he can't score or kick or pass or do anything.
He conned the Belgians in that quarterfinal, falling on the ground, thinking, saying he got injured, and then they score and he gets up as if nothing happened.
Yeah. He looks around quickly, gets up and fucking runs off.
Big con job, eh?
Typical Italians.
I didn't realize how many different clubs he went around.
Yeah, it didn't work out.
He struggled until he got to Lazio. Like, you know, considered the next great number 9 for Italy, and then failed, went overseas. Where'd he go? Bundesliga somewhere?
Yeah, Dortmund. Didn't work out there. And spent some time in Sevilla as well, in La Liga.
Wow, he definitely failed because I didn't hear him at Dortmund.
He played 24 games at Dortmund and scored 3 goals.
Yeah.
Before that, he was at Torino. He had a good average, 33 games, 22 goals. Yeah, but in Sevilla, he didn't do too well. Back to Torino, and then Lazio got him, and he scored 123 goals in 177 games.
Yeah.
I mean, for Italy, he's got 15 goals in 52 appearances, so it's not too bad. Number 18. Fatty. Who's your current striker that's not even playing anymore?
What?
Not like a Z, the other one.
Aubameyang.
He killed it at Dortmund.
Yeah, of course. He killed it at Dortmund.
It's fantastic at Dortmund.
I was surprised
Everyone loved him at Dortmund.
I was surprised we even made a signing of that caliber, considering, you know, the basket case that the club was. They were able to pull someone like Aubameyang, who was actually very successful at Dortmund as a goal scorer. Really surprised.
I think his form kind of dropped, would you agree, after he signed that contract extension? What do you think?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think he's playing out of position, though? Is he playing more in a wing role than the 9 that he was playing at?
Yeah.
Or?
This comes back to fucking Arteta, the useless fucker.
Talk to us why he's playing out wide. Who's playing the 9 role? Could he play 9? Could he play?
If I knew all these answers, I'd be managing Arsenal myself, and I wouldn't be here doing this Zoom.
I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your opinions.
I'm actually disgusted at Arsenal at the moment. I'm disgusted. Not at the moment. I would say for the past 5-6 years, I'm actually disgusted. Like prior to the 5 years, I had this delusional idea that we could compete again, but clearly that those ideas were misguided. Those hopes, I would say, were misguided.
At the point of Wenger's last season, were you one of those that was Wenger in or Wenger out?
No. Towards the end, he made a couple of questionable decisions, and when we weren't challenging, because we were so expected to constantly challenge, there was a lot of anger around Wenger. But coming up to the last year, I started to slowly realise that what Wenger meant to Arsenal, and I thought, no, this is going to be a big loss for us. Like, you know, we're not going to adequately replace him, blah blah blah. And then, you know, as they say, the rest is history. Clearly, it's been the case, unfortunately, for us. But yeah, and I think at the moment now, based on what I'm seeing, there's a lot of emphasis on youth and developing a lot of young players coming through and making sure that they sign them for extended contracts, which is fine. But when a club of Arsenal stature that's the size of Arsenal doesn't compete for such a long time, there's a hunger and a thirst for that competition, or to at least challenge to get into Europe and you know, bring back some of that glory, quote unquote. But it feels like every year they're just restarting again, and it's just constantly declining. Like the bar's getting lower and lower as the seasons go by. It's
also hard to bring new players into the club or bring superstars when you're not fighting at the top and you're not fighting for Champions League.
That's one thing, but at the same time, even when we weren't challenging for the title, Wenger could still attract, because it was Wenger at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Now, Mikel Arteta, I mean, I don't know. I can't see a player that would say, I want to be a player under Arteta. I can see players that want to go play under other managers, even at different clubs or lower clubs, lower in stature, so to speak. But I wouldn't be, as a player, I wouldn't be enticed to go play under Mikel Arteta. It would only be because I want to play for Arsenal, only because I wanted to, or I have, some sort of
love for the club,
or love for the club, or I used to support the club, or something like that. But now there's nothing to entice any player to go to Arsenal. Not the quality of the football, not the fact that they're challenging, not the fact that the player can progress their career under a certain manager. None of those.
Or we do a podcast on that Arsenal and how the glory days and 90s to early 2000s and where they are now. It's an interesting topic, to be honest.
A bit of a spiral, and I think we're not even halfway through the spiral yet. I still think there's more dark days to come for that club before they start to sort it out. But it's going to take a lot. And it's gone quiet on the takeover front and all that sort of stuff. It's just been swept away, I think, with the comeback of the fans and whatnot. People are just excited to come back, and it just feels like it's gone away. I don't know if people have stopped. Vieri obviously appointed as manager of Crystal Palace, who was one of the figures behind that push. Sort of vanished now because he's got another role to worry about. So who knows? Could have just been some fucking bullshit talk.
Paddy, best case scenario, where do you think Arsenal will finish this season?
I reckon if we finish in the top 10, it should be happy.
Wow, the standards have been lowered. Shit.
That's a failure.
Wow.
Well, the last two seasons finishing outside of the European spots, top 10 is not that far off.
But if you finish 10th, right, you shouldn't be happy. You're only playing one. You're not playing any European football.
They're not going to play. They're not going to play any European football next season. I can guarantee you that. Regardless, and anyone who thinks that because there's no European football this season, they can focus on league is deluded. Mikel Arteta is going to try and win something, being the FA Cup, just to say that, look, I've got something, because that's really his only realistic chance as a cup competition, because it's a knockout and you can just turn up on the day. But aside from that, not going to do much. I don't think he'll last. I honestly don't think he'll last past Christmas.
All right, you're right, Darcy. I think we can do a whole podcast on Arsenal. It's very interesting of where the clubs come from to where they are now.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's move on to number 17 on the list.
Fuck, are we still there?
Mauro Icardi.
Wow, that's quite a surprising one. I don't know about you guys, but his stock has taken a drastic downturn over the last couple of years. Inter couldn't wait to get rid of him, and he's not exactly impressed at PSG.
Yeah. 154 goals in 281 games. Don't forget, this is from 2020 backwards, so the last 12 months doesn't count. But in saying that, he did well in Italy. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely, he did. But the baggage that came with him, I guess you just don't think of him as one of those top elite type style players because of just that baggage distracted from the ability.
Funny you mentioned Icardi. I was watching a video of Messi turning up to a PSG in the in behind the scenes sort of thing and greeting all the players individually one by one, and I was curious to see his interaction with Icardi because from my understanding there's always some sort of dislike or tension, whatever you want to call it, because of the issues the private issues that Icardi had with
Maxi
Lopez. But they greeted each other fine, hug and everything. Obviously, cameras, but I don't know.
To be honest, I don't know if that's media created or because Icardi played a few games for the Argentine national team with Messi there, and nothing was reported, any issues or conflict. So I don't know if that's media created because Maxi Lopez played at Barcelona with Messi for a little bit, and then people just put the pieces together and created this issue where there wasn't one.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, at Inter Milan, he scored 111 goals in 188 games. So,
not a bad record.
So pretty good for Serie A.
It's hard to think about it just because it was during a time where Inter wasn't really, firing on all cylinders, were they?
Exactly. Yeah. But he wrote out a book where he smashed the ultras at Inter. and then they threatened him, and then like there was a big. This is a dilemma that Fadi was talking about before. The baggage that he comes with, the problems. His wife is his manager. That's another issue altogether.
Yeah.
It's a head fuck.
Maxi Lopez's wife.
Ex-wife, yeah. Maxi Lopez's ex-wife, Mauro Icardi's current wife, obviously.
We get it.
It is.
All right, number 16, Roy Mckay.
Yes, so I knew he was going to be in that list. One of my favorite strikers.
Oh, I haven't heard that name in ages.
Yeah.
Why, Darcy? Why one of your favorites?
Oh, just very prolific. You know, I remember his days at Deportivo.
I was going to say
The
Deportivo.
glory
That's
days of, you know, late 90s, early 2000s. They won the league in 2000, and I think he went to Bayern in 2002. You know, spent quite a number of years there.
Was he at Deportivo with Diego Tristan at the same time?
He was. Them two up front, yeah.
That was a fucking great team.
Good days of Deportivo and like now and then the third tier of Spanish football, unfortunately. Yeah, big fall from grace for them. But
They got down to third.
Yeah, third tier.
Wow.
But Roy Mckay, a real target man, real classic number 9, eh?
Yeah, it's funny. Like he was very successful at club level, Deportivo and Bayern Munich, but at national team level because they were stacked up front with guys like Bergkamp, Kluivert, and Van Nistelrooy. Didn't quite get that much of a run in the national team. He was in the squad,
true.
but he was on the bench a lot. Yeah,
He was unlucky. He came really in that golden generation of the Dutch team.
yeah,
He didn't really get a run because he was, like you said, he was great for Deportivo. And that Deportivo team used to cause some damage in the Champions League. Teams used to hate going and playing there because he'd always drop points, or especially it was a good team, man. I used to enjoy Deportivo as a neutral.
Good numbers. At Deportivo, he scored 79 goals in 133 appearances.
yeah.
Bayern Munich, 78 goals in 129 games.
Yeah, very prolific, very efficient.
How long did he stay at Bayern for?
Yeah, he was at Bayern for a little bit.
From 03 to 07.
That's right, he was.
Yeah, and he's also got the record still for the fastest goal in Champions League history. I remember that because it was against Real Madrid in 2007, second leg.
Oh, okay. I was going to say because my brother was doing something that reminded me.
No, I remember that game. I sit down, watch it, and he scores within 9 seconds.
How did he score? Who stuffed up?
The Real kicked off. Roberto Carlos had it, lost it on the left side. Salihamidzic did a cross, and Mckay finished straight and changed the game.
Yes, you are right. You are right. He's got the record. Can you tell me how many seconds? Exactly. Point what?
Come on, Danny. Fuck off.
I don't know, I'm just going to stab here. 9.7.
10.1.
Oh, 10.1. Oh, is that above 10?
It was 0.4 of a second off. Fuck, no, you're rubbish.
You see how excited he gets when you talk about current football? Can we go back to the 40s when he was playing?
Been excited. That game was a nightmare.
Yeah, but just any attempt for you to be able to talk about what you remember, you get a gleam in your eye. And then he talks about the 40s and gets 20 years wrong for a savior.
Nah, you know why? Because the war was on. Doesn't matter.
No one played. No one kicked the ball in 10 years.
But the Vietnam War was on. Was football still happening? Or all right, Darcy. We love you, Darcy.
No.
Tomorrow's gonna have his Cocoa Pops and remember this moment.
He'll remember something else and message up.
Top 15 now. Moving on, boys. Top 15 best goals per game ratio in the 21st century. Number 15. Surprise here, Pauleta.
Ooh,
Wow.
Yeah.
0.56 goals per game. 201 goals in 359 games.
Yeah, most of his time was in France, I recall, with Bordeaux. I remember. Spent a lot of time in Ligue 1 there. Not so much. He played in a couple of World Cups, I think, in a couple of Euros. Maybe one World Cup, a couple of Euros.
Well, he had 88 appearances for Portugal.
Yeah.
So that's a fair bit. He's got 47 goals for them. But he spent more time at PSG than he did at Bordeaux.
Yeah. Yeah, so French League,
I remember him at that Euro. Fuck, what Euro was it?
2004?
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah, 2004.
2000 or 2004, one of them.
2004, yes.
Yeah.
That's a good ratio. That's a good number of goals.
Yeah.
High average. That's number 15 on their list. Number 14,
It's like
R9.
students.
Ronaldo, R9.
14.
Wow. You know what, though? You just got to ask the question with R9. If he didn't have those injuries, where those numbers would stack?
Yeah, I know. Hey, last year.
Well, look, sorry to cut you off, Ak, but just the last two plays that we looked at, 334 games, 359 games. You go back and you're looking at 463 games. You look at Ronaldo, and he's got 214 games only.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say before you really interrupted me. Yeah, like when you think about the fact that he wasn't the same player in the 21st century that he was in the 90s, makes it so impressive.
0.56 goals per game. So 120 goals in 214 games. That's
Wow.
that's coming from 2000 onwards. And you're right, late 90s was where he's peaked. A lot of injuries. And most of the time was at Real Madrid, is that right?
For that period of time, yeah, because, I mean, he didn't really play in the year 2000, 2001. He only really started playing from 2002 onwards, right at the end of that Serie A season, and then went into the World Cup. Then after that, with Real Madrid until what, Darcy, 2007?
Yeah, mid-2007 season. And then
Went to AC Milan, and then he was there for a little while. So you're right, Johnny, like with that limited amount of games, to have that ratio, to be in the top 15 of the last 20 years, it's a testament to his ability.
Yeah. He had a very interrupted career after the 90s. Obviously due to injuries and whatnot, but that's a lot of people say that. A lot of managers say that. A lot of current managers and players say, and ex-players, say that the greatest player they've ever played with is Ronaldo.
Yeah,
that he did things that they've never seen anyone else do.
I just get shocked and I just get overwhelmed by the fact that 1998, he's the best player in the world. He smashes the World Cup until the final and everything that happened at the final. He has these horrible injuries. He barely plays between the World Cup 98 and 2002 World Cup. And yet from one to the other, he's still the best player in the world.
Yeah, he was a phenomenon, as they call him, a phenomenal.
In 5 years, Real Madrid only played 127 games. So, yeah played injuries. All right, number 13, Thierry Henry. What's it say?
Arguably, for some people, the Premier League's greatest player. Undoubtedly, in the top three greatest Premier League players ever.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you can't say much. The man was in his peak in the early 2000s. You can't really deny that. What he did for Arsenal. Came in as a relatively unknown in '99, signed to replace Nicolas Anelka, and everyone thought, "Who the fuck is this guy?" Came from Juventus, or was at Monaco? Came from Juventus, did nothing. Played out on the wing. Arsene Wenger said, "I'll change him," and the rest is history. Became what he became, and moved on and did what he won the World Cup in '98 off the in the squad. He was only a small part of the squad. And then Euro 2000, and obviously 2002, which was an embarrassment, but we'll skip that.
No, the thing is, honestly, I don't know where you would rate him in terms of greatness of all time, but for me, he's a top 10 most exciting player of all time easily. Blistering pace, amazing control. He had like one of the best finesses you'd ever see. And one of the coolest finishes. Honestly, if he wasn't anyone's favorite player, he was their second or third behind, Ronaldo.
Yeah.
He's also one of those players where you speak to fans from any club and no one really hates him. No one he's not a hated player. He's not I can't stand on Ray. Everyone
Except
loves
Irish.
him.
Except Irish.
Fair point. Can you explain why? We know, but can you explain to everyone why?
Yeah, so back in 2009 for the 2010 World Cup qualification, second leg, tie 1-1 in aggregate, and then later in extra time, blatant handball from Henry, missed by the refs, missed by the linesman, passed it to Gallas, they score, obviously if the VAR was around, it would have been picked up, but no VAR back then, and yeah, they called it the hand of frog, I think, and it was a very a very hated figure back in Ireland, and even I think in the World Cup as well in South Africa. Some of the games he was booed by a lot of the fans as well.
Yeah, he was still hated. He's still hated by a lot of Irish. I know Irish people on my socials, and whenever something about Henry pops up, they're the first to spin shit about it. They hold a grudge, these fucking potato lovers.
Well, besides the Irish, he's one of the most popular players that we ever had, especially in the 21st century. I love the fact that, for Arsenal, Fatty, they played usually 4-4-2, and Thierry Henry, I guess, was that number 9 next to Bergkamp, right?
Yeah, Henry though played a very free role. Like a lot of times,
that's right. Yeah,
come back and receives the ball in midfield, or he'd go out wide and cut in. Wenger really gave him that freedom, and I think that's why he excelled at what he did.
100%. He was more than just a number 9, and for France, he certainly played, off the number 9, which was Trezzagay, to allow him to have that freedom. It was one of the times where I think everyone, like I said, if Henry wasn't your favorite player, he was definitely your top 3, top 5. And it goes with Arsenal. We've been talking a lot about Arsenal. Arsenal was the same. If Arsenal wasn't your team, they were one of your second team or your third, because of the way they played, and that link up between Bergkamp and Henry was amazing.
Yeah,
I'm surprised Arsenal got him in the first place. Like you said, in Juventus, he only played 16 games and scored 3 goals. So obviously, Wenger knew something that no one else did.
Yeah, I mean, there was always that connection there. Wenger and David Dean's scouting network was really what propelled Arsenal in that early 2000s era. And they capitalized on that, the fact that he was obviously French, and Wenger had a good reputation, so a lot of French players wanted to play under him.
Number 12 on the list. Sorry, how were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, Fatty, after this, is going to go and watch some Arsenal highlights on YouTube.
Everything, trust me, repeatedly, because that's all I can watch. I can't
cry himself to sleep.
I can't wait for the Arsenal podcast. Number 12. Do you want to play a guessing game?
Give us some clues first.
Yeah, you got to give us some hints, but
Yeah,
all right. What do you want? Nationality?
I don't fucking know.
If I tell you nationality, I think you'll guess it. Ready?
okay, just tell us where he played then.
2 teams in England. He went to Turkey. Played in Portugal.
Okay.
Portugal?
2 teams in England.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, here we go.
2 teams in England, Portugal and Turkey.
Fuck, he stumped me. I'm not thinking. No, you stumped me, Johnny.
Really?
Fuck, as soon as he says it, and we're going to be like, oh, should have fucking thought about it.
He's Colombian.
Falcon.
Radamel Falcao. Here we go.
Radamel Falcao.
Yeah.
Porto, Atletico Madrid as well.
And Monaco.
Turkey. He's another one that he went to England and failed at every club, but he went outside of England and he just killed it, smashed it with goals. Because it was before and after England. It's not like his career just dropped. He's one that after he left England, his career went back up.
I think the English style didn't suit him, and he really struggled there, to be honest. It was spoken about it, especially with his time at United. There was a lot expected of him. Just couldn't do it. And at the time, United was challenging. He just didn't fit in. He didn't fit into the style. I think that's why he struggled.
158 goals in 272 games. Number 11, current player. What else can I give you? Just did a big transfer move.
Just did a big, like how
Lukaku.
No.
Oh.
You're so confident.
Messi.
No. You spoke of. He's still playing.
No.
Varane.
All right, we give up, mate.
You spoke about Henry, and you think top goal scorers of the Premier League. You think Henry as well. You think
Aguero.
Aguero.
You were late, Darcy. You didn't get the point.
Kun Aguero.
0.59 goals per game, which is pretty high. That's 350.
Nah, absolutely. The thing about Aguero that I really admire, and I've always been a big fan, is that he's a guy who plays the number 9 role, but his physical stature isn't one of a classic number 9, and he had to show that aggressiveness and physicality despite not being 6'2", and at the same time having that technical ability and that all-round game to be more than a 9 to fit in the modern day game.
I like as well when Guardiola first came to Man City, everyone just ruled him out because he's not a player to track back. He's not a player to do the defensive dirty work that Guardiola wanted to, but he adjusted, he adapted, he did it. He still scored goals to the point where he earned this spot. He was the captain of the team until the last year or two. Injuries played a big part in his career in the last couple of years as well. But yeah, like you say, he scores headers, he scores all type of crazy goals for being someone that's not massive.
Yeah.
And he became a club hero in England. So
Yeah.
So
And honestly, that goal.
it's going to be synonymous with Man City's first title win.
Yeah.
number 10. What clues can I give here? Dutch and one of Darcy's favorites.
Dutch.
Yes, Akram. Well done.
Oh, yeah. I love
Darcy's slow again, man. What's going on today?
Akram,
You all right?
Akram, you're killing it today. You are on
He's
fire.
on the ball today, Ak. I don't know. I love Root, man. He was he wasn't like a flashy like Henri and that, but just efficient, right place, right time. Scored some great goals too, not just a tapping king as they used to call him. And
he was the tapping king.
he had a good 4 5 years.
For me, Van Nistelrooy was the epitome of fox in the box. The man was there. He knew when to pop up. He knew where to be. I fucking hated him. I couldn't stand his guts, especially around that era where it was United-Arsenal rivalry. I could not stand the man. I was happy when he fucking moved to Real Madrid, so I could see the back of him. That's how good he was at picking up goals. And a lot of the goals he scored, you think, rubbish, what a tap-in. And I was one of those people that used to say, but when I look back at it now, you had to be in the right place at the right time. You had to know your positioning was very important. He still took players on in very tight spaces and scored goals. Yes, he didn't score flashy goals. He didn't have many, long-range efforts or many amazing goals that you look at and be wow. So it was a little understated for me, his goal-scoring ability. But Ferguson loved him, and he was very, very successful.
100%. I always find that with Van Nistelrooy, it was always fascinating because it felt, and I'm not sure if it was real for the players or the clubs, but during that time of that Man United Arsenal rivalry, it always felt like that Van Nistelrooy versus Thierry Henry kind of feel, right? And I mean, Van Nistelrooy, one of those classic poachers, like you said, fox in the box, that instinct. He always appeared underappreciated compared to Thierry Henry, who was the more explosive and exciting player. But I mean, as the statistics show, Van Nistelrooy obviously had the better ratio, right? When I think poach, I always think, Filippo Inzaghi. But then after that, I always go straight to Van Nistelrooy as well. He made a career out of that. And I mean, good on him, hey. And like Darcy said, he played a really important role for Real Madrid. So,
Yeah. Winning La Liga and also top scorer in the 06-07 season, La Liga.
You think, as soon as you think fox in the box, you think Filippo Inzaghi. I think Francis Jeffers from Arsenal. What are you talking about?
Francis Jeffers.
England legend. That's who I think of when I think of fox in the box.
Number 9. Current player. Plays at a big club.
Lewandowski.
In England.
Oh, fuck.
Not Lukaku, is it?
You love Lukaku, but it's not Lukaku now.
The current player, big club.
Scored many goals in Italy and scored many goals in France.
Cavani.
Yes. Akram, you're on fire, Akram. Today's your day, Cavani. 0.61 goals per game, 341 in 556. Good striker.
Again, Cavani a bit. I think because when he was at United,
still is.
Bit slow in terms of the goal scoring at the beginning, and I think that's what worked against him. Copped a lot of criticism for it.
Yeah.
Again, the thing I like about Cavani though is that he's a number 9, but he's able to do more. He's such a well-rounded player, and I remember like really enjoying some of the tournaments, Copa America and World Cups before Uruguay, where him and Suarez would link up. And like, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've never had a player like Suarez who played so aesthetically pleasing and yet be such an opposite in terms of his personality, which I always found that really fascinating with Suarez. But I actually really liked watching the two of them link up. And I mean, I just remember, what was it, 2018 World Cup, that cross-field pass between each other to link up that 1-2 before the other finished off. It was a great partnership. So, like, I mean, you know, good on him. I'm really glad to see he's on the list, Johnny.
Number 8, a different God, different type of God.
Got my buzzer.
Oh,
A different type of God. He's been around a few different clubs.
Messi. Technically applies that.
He introduced
a different type of God thing. Like, what are you talking about?
You'll see when the answer's here.
Here we go.
He introduced the real football
Cantona.
to Americans.
Cantona.
No, it's 21st century.
Ibrahimovic. Ibrahimovic.
Oh, you said current.
Zlatan. So 361
You said
goals.
Cantona?
I forgot that he said current. I said Cantona.
That's the 21st century, not current. It's 21st century.
Okay.
The whole list is 21st century, so even Cantona wouldn't fit in.
Fuck, sorry for fucking. I was out by 2 years. Calm your tits.
Hey, it's all right. We've had it worse in this podcast already. we had Eusebio playing in the 40s, so it's okay. So look, Zlatan is an example of a player that doesn't stay in the same club for very long. Is that right?
No.
I think AC Milan came second because of what Zlatan did in that first 6 months of the season. He ended the season pretty slow. Like, he was injured for a great portion of 2021, but in 2020 and that first half of Serie A, he was on fire and he really pushed and inspired that AC Milan side to a second place. They were looking at the expectations of, mate, if you guys come 6th, we're happy. If you come 5th, we're happy. And then he pushed into second in a Serie A that you still have. I understand that like Serie A is not what it once was, but Napoli, Juve, Lazio, Roma, it's still a very tightly contested Serie A. Atalanta, which, as we know, full of talent, great coach there, really doing, a great job. So, I think Ibrahimovic, he deserves a lot of credit for where AC Milan has ended the season.
I don't think the AC Milan season counts in this list, and he scored 25 goals in 37 games. So it's amazing.
Yeah.
And back in the Champions League as well from AC Milan after a long hiatus out from that competition. So just as important.
Number 7 on the list is Harry Kane.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very surprising. I think that's because, like, I've been around Fatty so much that I've started to disrespect Harry Kane.
183 goals in 289 games, according to
he's not to be seen at the moment. He's still rebelling for that transfer.
He's in hiding. Funny that first game was Spurs Man City and Kane nowhere to be seen. So I don't know if that's a sign of things to come where he didn't want to play against his new club. Who knows?
He's in hiding, is he?
He is in hiding. He hasn't made an appearance. He hasn't been to training.
Some castle in England. He's hiding.
Apparently,
he's signing.
He didn't show up to 2 training sessions in a row. So the media went crazy in England, obviously, as usual, talking about Harry Kane, and then they said, oh no, we've given him extended leave because of the Euros and whatever, just having a holiday. But who knows? I just think it's a little too many coincidences there for me.
It's really disappointing, I've got to say, because Harry Kane has, no matter what you can say about him, Fuddy, Harry Kane has always presented as a professional and a real loyal person. And that connection he's had with those fans for so long has been, correct me if I'm wrong, he's a one-club player, right?
No, he came from
Leicester. Played Leicester for a bit, didn't he?
Yeah.
And Darcy got so quick in there because he had to get something right tonight. With Darcy.
He played it really. I thought he was. I thought he was a one-club player, but yeah.
He came very young. That's why he came very, very young for Spurs. But I mean, a lot of people have been saying, even if he does want to move and he wants a new challenge or he wants Champions League football or whatever, which is fine. This isn't the way to go about it. Like, you're tarnishing your legacy sort of thing.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
With Spurs. I mean, I don't know. I couldn't give two fucks, to be honest, at Spurs. But in saying that, I think the way he's going about it just looks shit on him. It looks petty. But again, this is modern football, and players have all the power and leverage nowadays to sort of try and do that. Leverage moves away and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's football in 2021.
All right, number 6 and 5 are both currently play for the same team.
Wow.
Number 6 and 5 both currently play for the same team. Number 6, may I say, is probably the youngest player on this list.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
Is that the only hint we're getting?
Come on, a pretty big hint. 6 is the youngest player on this list. 6 and 5 played together. They're both big superstars.
Fucking, here we go.
Neymar and Messi.
You got one name right?
Neymar and Mbappe.
Yes.
yeah.
Akram, today this is your night.
The
Go ahead.
Akram show's not.
Akram, after you finish this podcast, shut the computer and go make your third kid, because you're on a you're on a roll here.
I love that ticket, mate.
Yeah,
Well,
Mbappe number 6, and Neymar, which surprised me, and I didn't think of him as a prolific goal scorer, but he's a number 5
No.
for 21st century.
Yeah, you don't think of Neymar as a prolific goal scorer because it's just like Icardi. The baggage distracts you from how good he is.
and it might not be teammates together that not much longer if Mbappe gets his wish.
Real Madrid.
What is that real? Like, I mean, a lot of shit they were saying, oh, he's got issues with Messi and whatnot. I'm like, what? He doesn't want to play with Messi. Why?
Yeah, I just think he wants to go to.
I didn't get that.
Where it's built around him, and like the way I could rationalize it, because I agree with you, Fatty. It sounds funny when Messi comes to your team, you go, I want to leave, but it's the same issue as why would Neymar leave Barcelona? I guess it's just the fact that if PSG win this next season, it's all going to be about Messi. And it's just a funny thing. It's like, I don't know, maybe it's egotistical, but I think he just wants to, carve his own path.
Yeah, but hang on a second.
Other big names.
Yeah, but hang on a second. How old's Mbappe? 22? Messi's got another 2 years. 2 years at PSG. Fuck. Mbappe can still stay there for 3 or 4 years and then still make a big move to Real Madrid.
100%, I agree. I mean, I think at the end of the day, players like Mbappe, they're very impatient. It seems to me. It's funny because you got Ramos, you got Donnarumma, you got Messi, Neymar, and now you're going to choose to leave it to go to a Real Madrid that's never been weaker in the last 20 years.
Look, I'm not Mbappe, but if I was him, I would stay at least one more season at PSG.
Well,
And have the ability to play with Messi for one season and play with his superstar team for one season before going to Real Madrid.
Possibly
I've heard
challenge for a Champions League.
Well, I've heard as well that if he stays this 1 year, runs out his contract at PSG, he played with Messi, he leaves, and then Cristiano comes next year when his contract runs out at Juve, and then they unite Ronaldo with Messi. That could happen.
Fucking hell. A 37-year-old Cristiano.
All right, number 4. Number 4, current player. He just won the league in his...
Lewandowski.
No. He just won the
I've
league
picked him like 3 or 4 times.
at a club level. He was mentioned before about creating a partnership.
Suarez.
Yes. Suarez, 270.
Are you awake,
277
man? Are you
goals.
okay?
I'm just admiring your fucking prowess.
He's on it.
My ability to guess until I get it right.
Yeah, now Suarez, big game changer for Atletico Madrid in that title win this last season. Barcelona letting him go to a direct rival like that, and then he just showed, made a mistake. But,
if you don't count Cristiano as a number 9, would Suarez be the best 9 of the last 10 years, or would they go to Lewandowski?
I mean, you're discounting Aguero now as well.
I would put Suarez and Lewandowski above Aguero.
That's a big call.
I think in terms of success, I think you'd have to put him above Lewandowski. But as far as an individual accomplishment, I think you have to give it to Lewandowski.
Okay. Speaking of, who's number 3?
Lewandowski.
There we go.
I guess the 5 times in a fatty just slips in at the end.
345 goals in 472 games. That's 0.73 goals per game. That's massive.
Crazy.
He's just a gun in the Bundesliga. You know, even at Dortmund before he went to Bayern, he was very prolific there. Got him to the Champions League final in 2013, and and then just at Bayern, yes, it's Bayern, a big team, and they win the Bundesliga almost every year. But he's a big part of that, you know. And
he is a Darcy, and I mean they've had continental success, so you can't take that away from him.
Of course, I forgot about that too. Yeah,
but at the same time, I feel like it is really difficult of a situation to look at when it comes to the Bundesliga, because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Lewandowski actually went on a free transfer from Dortmund, right?
I don't remember.
That was the year. That was the era where Dortmund got picked apart from Bayern Munich, where Mats Hummels went to Bayern, Lewandowski went to Bayern, Götze went to Bayern.
Yeah, and it's funny because I read that years ago, Blackburn Rovers were going close to signing him. So imagine, do you think how his career would have gone if he went to Blackburn?
Blackburn Rovers. Wow.
All right, there's no prizes for guessing the top 2.
Okay, Ronaldo and Messi, but in what order is the question?
Ooh.
I reckon it's Messi second, then Ronaldo first.
That's your guess? Hadasi, what's your guess?
This is a goals per game ratio.
I would have to say Ronaldo first because I feel like Messi
I think it's Ronaldo. I think a twist to it.
Would play a lot more minutes.
Number 2. Coming in number 2. This player has won not a World Cup, but a continental trophy. All right, this player has won at least 2 Champions Leagues. They've been top goal scorer, and then I can keep going this forever. Number 2 is Cristiano Ronaldo. 626 goals in 812 games, 0.77 goals per game. And number 1, Messi, with 630 goals in 726 games. That's 0.87 goals per game.
Wow.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Are you sure you didn't take this from an Argentinian website, though?
No, it's in English. And I keep saying, I see Cristiano as more of a goal scorer, more of a 9. Yes, Messi scores a shitload of goals, but I feel like he assists more as well. He gives penalties to other people, maybe because he's shit at taking them, but he gives penalties to his teammates. So it's like he gives away goals on a more consistent basis than CR7 does.
One thing I say about Messi that is unbelievable what he's doing at the moment is free kicks. The way he's been taking the past few years and how perfect he takes them and the amount of goals he scored from the dead ball situation is unbelievable. Like the way he strikes them, just pinpoint accuracy. He's improved a lot. Maybe it's because Xavi and Iniesta were taking him before when they were playing and Messi took a step back. I don't know. But since he started taking him, he's just been unbelievable.
There was a game in the Copa where I think it was against Ecuador, the last kick of the game. Di Maria went through by himself and it's a free kick and the ref gave a penalty. And he had to check VAR and it wasn't a penalty, it was a free kick outside the box and Messi went and scored. Everyone was saying it's more of a chance of him scoring from a free kick than a penalty because I think he missed a penalty not long before that. Yeah. But they're your top goal scorers for the last 20 years, guys.
Wow.
Yeah, you gotta say between Ronaldo and Messi, that duopoly, how is that going to be remembered?
As the greatest 2 that we've ever seen, probably in our lives, and ever will. I don't think we'd see players like that again until we die.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be matched.
Yeah,
we're very lucky. We've seen them come up, we've seen them at their prime, and we've seen them finishing their careers.
I mean, it took 30 years for someone to be in the same conversation as Maradona, for example. So maybe in 30 years' time, we'll see someone to be in the same conversation as these 2 guys.
I don't think anytime soon. To be.
Yeah.
All this premature talk of Mbappe and Haaland and all this shit.
But it's always going to happen. Third. It's always going to, every little young player that comes up and looks good is going
If
to
you
be the
had
next.
to pick Haaland or Mbappe to live up to that expectation, who do you
I
believe
don't
in?
know if they will. I don't know if they would, to be honest.
No, I know,
I,
but if you had to pick, asshole.
If I had to
Look-
pick one of the two, I'll say Mbappe.
I would have said Mbappe, but I was very disappointed with him in the Euros. Very disappointed.
But as a
Yeah.
player, because his ego from what he's showing us, that his ego can get in the way.
That's
So
fine, but there's all attributes of a player that they need to overcome. You know, their ego and how they deal with adversity, how they do when they're down or when they don't win or have a bad tournament. Like Mbappe did at Euro. How's he going to be now? There's all this speculation around him being at PSG or leaving. It's going to be a big season for him because he either performs and stays relevant in that argument because in terms of active players, they're not going to be existing anymore. Yes, the achievements are going to be there, but then everyone's going to be looking at who's the next, who's going to take that mantle. And if Mbappe doesn't live up the next season or two, he might fade away into obscurity. Might be one of those what could have been. I mean, it's a big call, but his first tournament after winning the World Cup in 2018, which everyone put a lot of emphasis and thought Mbappe, didn't really live up. So now he's really got to turn around this season and show why he is still regarded as one of the best young prospects in the world.
So, Fadi, before we finish the show tonight, are you open to having an Arsenal episode on the podcast?
That's one of that'll be a podcast that I'll actually do some homework for.
Okay. You've heard it here, guys. He's promised homework.
I just want to know when Adas is going to wear this Barcelona jersey.
When Gladys says so.
Fuck Gladys. We're going to, at this rate, Adas is fucking got away with it. I feel like this is a free pass. And you look how happy he is.
I'll find something.
He wakes up every morning. And hopes that the cases are skyrocketed, so he doesn't have to fucking wear that.
Darcy, that's awful, Darcy. Don't do
Mate,
Darcy.
anything to help, like I said, anything to help Barcelona with their current state, their exposure. I'm a good citizen,
Exposure. Stop using that word.
given their struggles.
All right. Let's see what you come up with tomorrow during Cocoa Pops time. On that note, guys, thank you for tonight. A good countdown, good episode, a fun one. We went off track for a little bit, but it's a good one. It's good, insightful conversation. So thank you. And Akram is the winner of tonight's trivia.
Now's the chance.
Full play to Akram. Did very well.
No. Take his line.
Oh yes. No, Akram, you do it.
No, I want to hear you, Darcy.
All right. Well, that's everyone. Check out the link. Go to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Get those likes up. Any comments, any feedback, any topics you'd like us to discuss, please let us know. Hit us up, and we'll have to bring on the show.
Well done, mate.
Well done, Darcy. We cannot get higher than that, so I'm going to finish it there. Have a good week, guys. Bye-bye.